guilty because I will work between, when my children go to school, I'll start working and I'll come back half an hour before that. That I did for a long time and I had great family support. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult.
I have to confess that I have suffered severe pangs of guilt in my early years, because although I worked at home, I meant working at home, it meant keeping yourself aloof. So my solution was to work only when the children went to school, stop when they came back home. And that really took its toll of me. I had to stop when I wanted to go on. So, it was very difficult time, very difficult period. But I think ultimately in the long run, the satisfaction that you have managed to do both, like Sudha said earlier, discipline is what matters. So I managed to make compartments in my mind. This compartment closes when the children come home, that compartment opens. That was how I lived, and that was how I managed to work all these years.
Let me give you one idea, which again has been initiated by my non-profit organization, Navji. We've initiated a concept called home care services, where an empowered woman empowers another woman. What we've done is we've gone to the community, identified women who have time to serve, and we have started to train them home care. I'm not talking of sweepers and cooks. I'm talking of a primary teacher training program, which takes care of the child when the child comes home, and this woman then sits along with the child to help do the homework, eat their lunch, take a little nap, even go to a training institution of engagement with mother or activity, and that the child does not watch stupid television. So we have now created a home care industry. I can tell you, friends, this is one industry waiting to employ millions and millions of women and men, because you need geriatric care where you may need a boy because it's grandfather or ailing husband. So I think this is an industry waiting, probably could be led by women in India in home care, where corporates then could tap this home care and employ and cooperate with these. And this could go a lot to the non-profit organizations, which could become even a bit of income generation for them by placement. So this is a thought for home care industry to grow. Like in India, security services have grown manifold and they continue to grow. So can home care industry to support working women, which means one working woman empowers another woman and employs her, which means empowering one more woman.
Thank you. And I know that you wanted ideas for business, so getting an idea for business. Yes, please.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. I'm Srivatsa from.
Close.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Srivatsa from a technology startup called Service Solutions. This question is mainly to Mr. Rajkumar Khatri, mainly because he's related with the state government. A lot of startups today want to become tomorrow's Infosys or the Tata Group, but most government or state-related government projects are never awarded to startup. They require previous experience or even a lot of other qualifications to even bid. So how does the government, state or central, help startups to grow to become one good company in the future, which can give it back to the society?
See, I don't think that you need to be very experienced to start up any project. The government of Karnataka has venture now capital funds for IT and manufacturing too. And there was a previous session where the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, I think Joint Secretary had addressed Mr. Mittal. The culture of giving support to the innovative ideas is now strongly taking shape in the state governments as well. And you are most welcome to come up with the idea and seek the venture capital fund from us. Thank you.
Okay. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. In closing, I just want each of our panelists to answer one question. No, we have to cut it short. No. They would be here, so you can probably approach them and ask their question. Of course, they are saying, please allow them to have dinner, but sorry, we have to.
One last question.
No, we have to. I just want to ask each panelist, there is tremendous expectation about India. The whole world thinks India is going to be an economic superpower. India is going to actually drive global growth. I know each one of you is not a business person, but each one of you have done extraordinary things. And from your perspective, what do you think one thing we should be doing for India to achieve its potential? So each one of you, please. To achieve its potential.
Well, government would have its own role, as brief as possible. Government has its own role. And people like Khatris, if they are a critical mass and if they are a majority, I think we are sailing through very well. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Therefore, let's leave the government aside for a while. If it performs, it's a bonanza and a lottery. If it doesn't, then we are not going to suffer. So as a corporate world, if every corporate does a little side to say, how can we do whatever we're doing to make whatever is around us more inclusive? More inclusive. In whatever way, look around in whatever way it can be made inclusive. And as it takes, it gives back 100 times. Let's say, for instance, the water industry or the beverages or the aerated waters. If it takes away 1 glass of water, how does it give back 100 glasses of water? From the place where they have drawn, not where it's already surplus. So that's the point. I think, so there's no one answer. Wherever we are, whoever we are, be it officer here, individuals like me, NGOs, or the corporate world, since I'm almost speaking to the corporate world as a majority, is reflect within, search within, discuss within, brainstorm within, and I'm telling you, you will have the right answers. It's in our interest of this country and certainly the corporate world which has to drive the change. Because remember, richer bottom of the pyramid is a better consumer of tomorrow. It's in our interest of the corporate world to have empowered community at the bottom, because it will become a more consuming society, which means greater purchasing power. So I would urge you, do that. If you look around, there's no one answer, but how can you make your surrounding more inclusive and more equity driven? Thank you.
I would say that India is on the path of being economic power, and government cannot be wished away because government will be there. So we need to create that critical mass which Dr. Bedi has said, and the role for us would be to motivate others like us to join this group and create that critical mass.
Actually, I worry at times because India is always represented, particularly when you go to US, they always talk about software. India is not all, Chris, sorry, India does not mean always software industry. India does not mean Bollywood. India does not mean only biotechnology. It's not also only management. Actually, there are many, many bright kids just across the line. They are in rural areas, they could be in slums. They are poorer section of the society. Unless they are included in our growth, unless they have an opportunity and cross the poverty line, India's progress is of no use. Unless you bring all of them who are merited, who have great capacity, and it is our duty to our corporate house or government or together. I don't blame one, I blame all, or I will say good to all of them. It is our duty to bring all those people who are bright but economically poor, do not have an opportunity. If we do not support them, then India is shining is only for a small time.
I think we need a very good political leadership. Without that, we can go nowhere. We cannot wish away the government and we cannot reduce its role. So we need a very good political leadership. And number two, whatever is happening in this country, in the means of education, employment, has to be spread much more. We need to have a very inclusive program so that nobody is left out of it. If we do these two things, if one is very wishful thinking, the other one is very possible. If we do those two things, I think India will be a great country.
On behalf of every one of you, I want to thank each one of the panelists. We had a wonderful, very interesting, inspiring session, very interactive, and I want to thank you all to making this panel a very interactive panel, and you kept your questions short. Thank you very much for that. Enjoy the rest of the evening. We have dinner, and please give them a big applause. Thank you.